Hello, my name is Wayne Rosamond, and I am co-chair of the 2018 EPI Lifestyle Scientific Sessions.
And I'm Deborah Young. I'm also the co-chair of the sessions.
Great. And we are here in New Orleans at this year's conference, and every year I come to this conference. I've been coming for a long time, just like you have. I always get energized and come away thinking a lot of new research I want to do, and this year is no different. And actually, we're having over 500 presentations of research from 19 different countries with a lot of variety. That's one thing I really like about this conference. There's so much variety in topical areas. One of the traditional things is very strong, and I always look forward to, is the focus on early career and opportunities for networking for early career people.
So the Early Career Committee has really knocked it out of the park this year. They had a session yesterday about how to avoid burnout, and brought in 4 speakers, presenters, academic researchers who talked from assistant professors to senior associate professors who really talked about how they can stay energized about their research and all of their commitments, and gave, I think, the early career investigators some good tips for not only their academic careers, but also balancing their life with their work.
It's fantastic. And actually this year's theme was risk prediction and risk prevention, and we had a great opening session with 3 keynote speakers who really took on that challenge of how we can put together all we've known about how to predict risk and identify new risk factors, but also take that information and knowledge and take it into the community to make a difference. And they covered the gamut from a 350-year history of research into risk factors to the new digital age and the explosion of data science, to all the way to the front lines of how do you take interventions and knowledge about risk and communicate that to people in the communities. And I think that was really cool.
And also include the social determinants of health, that when you get into the communities, a lot of the risk factors, while they may be appropriate to an individual, there are all these contextual factors around them that affect how well they can, administer a healthy diet, being regularly physically active, taking your medications regularly. So it's really been, like you said, the gamut from 2,000 years ago to now. It's just been really something.
Yeah. One specific example of sort of that contextual sort of work was a paper presented about individuals who lived in areas that have smoke-free policy and what it did to their blood pressure. And actually, the individuals who lived in areas that had policies about no smoking at restaurants or workplaces, their blood pressure declined over a 10-year period more than those who lived in states or regions that didn't have such a policy. So it's just an example of how the policy, which affects large groups of people, can really have an effect on something very specific like someone's blood pressure.
It's amazing.
I thought that was very interesting. The other thing I thought was worth highlighting is the new hypertension guidelines, because that's been in the news a lot, and we heard a whole session on hypertension. And that was one of the new features we had this year, is the rapid fire presentation, where we got 10 individuals to give their research in a rapid fire format. And I think that was a really fun opportunity to learn about a hot topic of hypertension.
Speaking of rapid fire, the Early Career Committee also did a session that was called the 3-minute Thesis. And they invited graduate students from this surrounding area here in New Orleans to present an abstract in a 3-minute format, and it was awesome. We had 3 finalists who really did a great job. These were master's students, and they, to be able to use one slide and tell a story about what your research is about in 3 minutes.
Fantastic. No, that goes also with the theme, is how do we take our knowledge and communicate it to people in an effective way? And I think that's a great example of how we're trying to train our junior colleagues to do that more effectively in the future. Well, I'm really excited about the stuff I'm learning, and I always come away with a whole list of new research projects that I can go away with.